Putting it back together again. Don't have the nice green marker, so I have some red water resistant marker. It still does show, just to make sure that everything is torqued. Couldn't torque this one because my wrench is too thick, so I couldn't make it into the bolt, into the Allen bolt. This one goes to 220 or 240 Newton meters. 220. At least it's a nice one. So I did it with my smaller torque wrench, which only goes to, do we focus? Go on, focus. No, not today. Doesn't feel like it. To 25 Newton meters. And then I did a little bit by hand, just to make sure it's snug enough. Filled it with oil, flushed it a little bit with some older spare oil, transmission oil I had. Also torqued, so everything is going well. Rear fender is on again. Did also this one. I found some injector socket, 27 millimeters, which is open, so that worked perfectly. Once you say they kind of snap off if they're not maintained. Took them apart, anti-seize on them just to make sure. Surfaced the side stand. It's also snapping back nicely. So that's all cool. Everything is together. Now I'm gonna check if the rear brake master cylinder is not leaking. I don't think so. Maybe it was some water or something, I have no idea. We'll check it thoroughly before I put it together. And then the rear wheel on. Cleaned the disc because greasy hands on it. I also used aluminum paste for some bolts, and of course the copper grease. Also did this one, like the threads, just to save them, to be sure, because this bike will be ridden in the rain. So I'm also doing the electric things with some anti-moist stuff. This is also perfectly back together now. As you can see, some rubber tubes on it, so you don't damage. Did I find here? From some previous battery. I will save that. Always handy. The toolkit is all in very good condition. I did spray it a little bit with silicone. I needed to wipe it off. Everything is perfectly now. Then we are moving towards the front end. We'll also replace the coolant because it's already old. I want to also put new oil in the front suspension, new brake fluids, maybe take the calipers apart. Well, not really apart where you take the caliper, the piston out of the caliper, but at least grease the brake pads, clean everything a little bit up, protect the metal, maybe check the airbox for excessive dirt, even though it's not written, but maybe a spider crawled up and who knows. Just to make sure, I'm gonna check it. Also have some clearance issues on the stand, like you showed in one of your movies. I took this apart because it was not working correctly every time. It's because of standing idle for a few years in a shed. It's never good for a bike. Lubricated this thoroughly with stubber rock also. A complete one because I bought it, but as you said, it's expensive stuff. I said, well, yeah, expensive is relative, but it's really expensive. You were correct, but I will use it up. I will also put it on the levers. I want to turning things to make sure everything will be okay. Grease the window slides. Maybe take the whole fairing off. Don't know if it's too difficult, but we'll see. Still want to thank you for all your movies because it's a great help, and I have no idea how you can have that steady hand, work on a bike and shoot a movie, because it's freakishly hard. You underestimate something like that, you tend to shoot something like the ceiling, and while you think you're shooting a pinion or some nut you want to show. Well, thank you, mate.